All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Sunday evening. Another edition of Knicks Weekly, episode 124. On this show, man, we discuss the good, bad, and the ugly of the orange and blue from the week that was. CP the franchise in the building. Special guest with me tonight. You guys know him very well, man. He is the rhyme animal. He is a KFTV day one. He's our guy, man, the legend. Chuck D in the building. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Salute to you guys wherever you guys are watching, man. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. Happy Sunday to the family. Salute to the franchise channel members. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Oh, man. Chuck, how you feeling, man?
Haven't been on for a couple years, man, but
Yeah.
you know where I'm at. Salute out to Knicks Nation, get them thumbs up. I'm in the pit, in the mosh pit. We're going back and forth, and that's where I like to reside. I don't like to get in anybody's way. Like to put a comment every once in a while. I call in. I want to crowd nobody. We all equal. I ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
So, being on every once in a couple years is good.
In the fan seats, as you call it, man. In the fan seats.
Yeah, in the fan seat. Pre-playoff.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't want to be in the way during playoff, man. It's so intense. You don't want to hear nobody. You don't want to hear anybody that ain't got nothing to do with real ball run their mouth.
Yeah. This is the time for the hardcore, man. This is the time for the real ones, man. And I see you got your For the Fans, by the Fans towel in the backdrop. Absolutely, man. This is where it's at, man. This takes me back to the playoff days. Shout out to everybody. I met up with a fan last night at the Garden. They were like, "Yo, bring a towel. I need a towel." So, the towels are going, man. But and
the Knicks picked it up after like back in the '80s.
Yeah,
the Pittsburgh Steelers with the terrible towels.
Right, that's when
you
it
go
started,
out to
right?
Pittsburgh and they swinging them yellow and black towels, man. And my Jets, sorry, but me and Alex on the same page when I follow football. We catching the bad one from the Steelers, and you just had to submit to that in the Cowboys back in the day.
For sure, man. Well, as we get to these Knicks, 44-26 at the end of the week, and a tumultuous week it was, man. In typical Knick fashion, right? Cardiac Knick fashion. They come out from the West Coast trip Monday. Hey, after 12-0 deficit, they come out, they regain things, and blow the heat out the water. Then things got very, very interesting. You had the San Antonio game where, my man, I don't want to butcher his name, he comes off the bench, puts up record numbers against these teams in 19 minutes.
Mamu. Just call him Mamu.
Mamu.
I got a funny story later on about that or now or whatever, but that was really kind of coincidental that night. Flavor was there. Now, Flavor was doing some work in Texas and San Antonio, and coincidentally, the Knicks were in the same hotel, and he also knew Mamu and also Beauchamp in the summer league. And, he supports all the young guys. He lives in Vegas, and he says, So both Beauchamp and Mamu saw Flavor and said, "Yo, wear my jersey tonight." And he said, "I can't wear yours or his, so at the end, I'll wear whoever, does the thing." And that's how it went from there. And the Spurs told Flavor to jump on Mamu since he was a good luck charm. And then Alan Hahn hits me up and said, "Yo, man, tell him not to be rooting so hard." And said, I tried to send Flavor over to Allen, but by that time, the Spurs just escorted him out the building like some kind of lucky charm. I was tight.
Wow. Okay, so, all right, so, it wasn't all that bad. So Flavor was just there, but he was conflicted. So, he kind of just went with the winning team.
Beauchamp, he knew him as a kid playing in summer league and goes to the Bucks. He follows him. They all check him as Unc. And also Mamu checks in. He went to Seton Hall. Yeah. So they both saw him coincidentally. But go figure. Would you think he was going to have that type of game?
No. I mean, that was a once-in-a-lifetime type of game. But, hey, they capitalized on it. And the Knicks were certainly sorry for it. They were down by as much as 28 points in that game. This guy scores 34. And then you have second night of a back-to-back. They brought the same effort into Charlotte, man. Got the doors blown off. No defense. Couldn't muster up any offense. Everybody's at that point, it's panic mode. This team's not ready. They are cooked, fired, Thibodeau, you name it, everything. And so that made the Wizards game, go figure, a must-win game against a 15-win Wizards team. But that's how it goes in Knicks land, man. What did you make of this whole week, man, from beginning to end?
This is unprecedented, uncharted area for a lot of Knicks fans and for the Knicks this past decade. An area of time like in baseball, August, like you look like you're already going to go into the playoffs, kind of like maybe not as a top team, but as a team that's going to go in there and possibly make some noise. So they call it in baseball the dog days of August.
Yeah.
Like when they be having doubleheaders and make up doubleheaders. The starting lineups are going to kind of like be half gassing out in their August sun and heat. Well, this is kind of equivalent to teams in basketball when you're going to make the playoffs. You really don't know your seed, but the seeds are so spread apart that you kind of know your enemy, but you kind of don't know, and you'll take the chips where they fall. So, it was like it's that different type of atmosphere going on where I don't want to say it's boredom and complacency for a lot of the players, but I don't think they know that switch where to turn it up and off as easily like if we were doing this 5 years in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with the same players 5 years in a row. So it's kind of uncharted territory. So I'm kind of ticked off because at the beginning of the year, me and KG from the Mosh, we got this thing going where we predict the year-end record.
Yeah.
I missed it by one game 2 years ago, and by one game last year. 2 years ago, I missed it with Indiana, and I was going to get KG on that. And then last year, I was one game off. I forgot we lost a key game or whatever. This year, I predicted we'd be 53-29. We were on our way. The captain gets hurt. So now, we still got a chance. KG said we're going to be 48-34. I say we're going to be 53-29. So,
okay.
KG. So it's somewhere in between. So we in those dog days of playing around with records like that. But that's what this week is. This week is the dog day of March, going right into April. And then April is where those serious frowns and seriousness really starts to happen. And, you can expect paranoia. This is new hey, listen, if a fan joined the Knicks like in 2019, all of this is new.
Yeah.
When you put out the other day, when you talked about card carrying Hive member, I had to pull the call with this side. I was on the replay. I was checking out the replay game this morning, right in the drive, and I had to pull this out. You said you were card carrying chief member of the Earl Barron Club. I had to pull it to the side.
Yeah.
Williams at the guard.
Yeah.
Let me pull this over to the side because that is true. So this is an unprecedented area, and a lot of cats are nervous. They're tight. All of a sudden, people haven't been so afraid of the Motor City since they made Fords. So,
for real.
There's a reason to say, I have a concern, but I don't think it's just. I think more than Cade, I think there's a bunch of revenge factors with Detroit. There's Bickerstaff, who could be mad from 2 years ago.
Sure.
I'm going to get them back, and I'm going to even out-thug these Knicks.
Sure.
There's what? There's Tobias from last year who was sent home.
He need redemption,
There's Hardaway. There's a lot of little stories in there other than the obvious of people, it's Beef Stew, it's Kane Cunningham, it's Beasley. It's those other factors. So, but, you take who you got in front of you, you play them, man. The team I fear, I think it's going to come out of nowhere. Not that I fear, but it'll be something to watch. Bucks.
Okay.
I know, right?
Okay.
I think the Bucks are going to be that team that have struggled with that turn-on switch. That I think when they turn it on, they're just going to be different. Kuzma's going to fall in. Lopez, Portis comes back.
Yeah, Portis coming back.
Giannis got an attitude, and then Dame. They're just going to be different. So if I had to look at a team, I'd rather us play Detroit than the Bucks.
Yeah, I put Detroit, then I put the Bucks, and then I put the Pacers, because I just think styles make fights, And even though I want that revenge over that Pacer team, I just feel like their offense, their depth, their athleticism that gave the Knicks those problems last year, I think it could be the same issue this year.
And you know, a lot of people in the pit talking about coaching. And when you want to talk about plays and execution, and they still got damn TJ McConnell down there.
Right.
And I saw him wreaking havoc. Like all of a sudden he's like brought out of a hatch and all of a sudden is creating havoc. But do you see a play two weeks ago when they ran like football play?
The Pacers.
Indiana,
yes.
The Pacers ran that football play?
Yes.
Do we do things like that?
No.
Probably
no.
not.
That is not in Tibbs' playbook.
The inbounds pass is a haunted house, man, with us.
Yeah. 100%.
So if it comes down to execution and we're down in the we could trust the captain. But other than the captain, if we're down in crunch time with an inbounds play, other teams seem to master that a little bit better than we do. We got to figure that one out.
Yeah, I agree, man. Shout out to Tristan Puglia. Looks like Velasquez. Shout out to Tristan. He drops a super chat. He says, why do you think we always let random guys cook us? Well, when I look back on this weekend, a lot of fans was at me like, man, how could you think this way? How could you think this way? Look, I was disappointed just like anybody else in the effort of those two losses. But that's what I chalked it up to. Effort. Their effort was just not there. We know these teams are not in the Knicks class, even without Brunson. However, it was clear that their effort was just not there. Now, Josh Hart and those guys say it's a travel schedule. They were weary, physically, mentally drained. I thought so as well. Some fans don't want to hear that excuse. But clearly what you saw on the television in those two washouts was their effort was not there. And that's just the bottom line with this Knicks team. It has to start with their effort and their effort on the defensive end. Once they have that, everything falls into place. You saw that with the Miami Heat game. They forced 20 turnovers, was out to the races, and it's a completely different team. But if they're going to just come out there dragging their legs around, anybody can beat them.
From a fan seat, I think they're all too new and nice with each other. Last year, you had an attitude, you had a feeling that there could be a fight in the locker room with people getting on each other. Ragu looked like you didn't really want to put in a half effort because he might tell you something, and it might, it might be some back and forth. Or it might be a little static in the locker room. All love, but competition. This, I think, and who am I to say? I just ran a group for 29 and 35 years in a row around the world.
Right.
And so I could sense the smallest crack of dissension or when people are being too polite with each other, getting on each other or sensitive. And I don't think they fully have gotten to the point where they know each other to get on each other damn near to the point like, listen, we'll go to blows if you don't cover your man.
Yeah.
And you get that out of Josh Hart.
Right.
But you also get a feel like nobody wants to tell OG that. Nobody wants to, like, they don't want to alter that, whatever. Nobody wants to tell Mikhail that he might just crumble,
Yeah.
You get a feeling that the captain could take it and dish it out or whatever.
Sure.
But he's also going to be concerned about keeping the communication up and really being able to communicate to the coach, the coaches, the players, the ones off the bench. So I think, sometimes like in Boston's case, it took them 3 to 4 years to communicate to each other that you can't be slacking down.
Right.
You got to step it up all the way down to the houses and what's the other guy? All those guys that come off the bench and score 40. Yeah. It's just like, you know what? You get, and then when Drew Holiday got there, you get a feeling that they brought in a guy who's tough, that can handle it, and also dish it out. That came from a Milwaukee system where they let it roll.
True.
So
True.
I think the Knicks with each other in the locker room might be too courteous, where they might even be a lot. It shows on the court.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't cover somebody, you get it out of Hart, but it seems like Hart is outnumbered and also kind of like, which you can also see him like, come on, yo.
Yeah, which kind of just makes me feel like that's even more reason why they brought a guy in here like a PJ Tucker who might not give you much on the court, but as they get into this dogfight, into the trenches, and come playoff time, somebody who could try to hold these guys accountable in the locker room. And hey, because even after that Golden State loss, like shout out to Eugene and San Fran, during that last couple of minutes, he said, "Yo, PJ was in the huddle, like trying to get these guys together, man, and really trying to hold these guys accountable." So I think you have a point there, just in terms of that friendliness in the locker room, where they just it kind of feeds into the lack of resiliency.
Well, some people might be looking at PJ. It's like he's friends with everybody in the league. So even when he's a mercenary, they're like, yeah, are you really, or you just doing the job? The guy I thought is a perfect guy that something happened in the mechanics of business in the beginning of the year was Mook Morris.
Marcus
Because
Morris.
if he's not gonna be out there, you get a sense that Mook could be like, listen, I mean, you hear the story he said about Serge Ibaka when he first got to the Clippers?
Yeah.
When he says, like, look, yo, dude, man, what? I mean, if he ain't the dude, how you not going to be the dude to show up late? So you get that sense like he's one of those guys not to be messed with, but he might also feel like I'm still a player, so I want to play, or maybe management maybe look the other way. I always thought that, hey, you get both Morrison brothers and they'll goon terrorize the league, especially together. But maybe that's next year's story. So this year, it was get PJ, but we'll see. We'll see during the playoffs whether that translates. Because I do think we got dogs. I mean, our wings are vipers, and so when they turn that playoff switch on, I think you talk about Bridges and OG, we're going to see something we ain't never seen before. We're going to see the captain. We're going to see Mitch. We're going to see Cat. So we're going to see some things, and we're going to miss some things. But hey, it's entertainment too. So enjoy the ride. Hey, listen. Enjoy. Hey, Earl Barron was there, right? Yeah. I don't think these fans even know, man. Like the early parts. This whole century has been a wash, except for 2 or 3 or 4 years. And then I've been a fan since 1967. When I saw Bill Bradley last night, I remember when Bill Bradley, as a kid, finally got used to Madison Square Garden as a player. Because when I first started following the Knicks in 68, 69, I'm 8 years old. So I ain't like an infant.
Yeah.
And my father's schooling me. So I know a little bit as I'm getting interested about this. So I knew that Walt Frazier was just coming to his own. We had addition by subtraction. The Knicks traded Walt Bellamy the year before, and they got this guy I called him Dave the Butcher.
Yeah, right.
I said, we got a butcher. And the Knicks took off like they took off with OG last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Knicks couldn't be stopped. And then the guy that made me cry was Bill Russell, because it seemed like the Knicks couldn't lose. I'm 8, 9 years old. Then all of a sudden, we faced the Boston Celtics and Bill Russell. They said, yeah, my dad was like, yeah, they're old. And he sent us packing home. 1968, 69. Look it up in your phones. But yeah, so that I always compare that Knicks squad to this squad of discovery, and the time of knowing that you're not going there with the best record, but you're going in there with this extreme coaching and knowing who you are. It's just that we have some significant changes since last year that makes us a little bit different. So this is going to all be like discovery. It's going to be a mystery. We can't determine it now. Next year, no, playoff game 1 and game 2. You want to talk about the pit, the Marsh, KFTV. If we don't win game 1 and game 2, it's over. It's going to be overflowing. I don't know. It's different. It's going to be very different.
It's gonna be incredibly different, man. But look, I'm looking forward to it, and it's why,
I am too.
Yeah, it's why I really wasn't too down on this week. While for a lot of fans, this was a 5-alarm blaze. Like you said, this was the dog days of the season. I'm sure these guys who play the game are feeling it as well. They're ready to get rest. They're ready to get to the playoffs. Most importantly, the news this week: the captain is ramping up. He's ramping up to get back now. It's not clear if he's going to make it to the final, I think, 4 or so games that he needs to qualify for those All-NBA awards. But he's certainly ramping up that way, and that's going to be important for this team, obviously, as they go into the playoffs.
He knows what to do. As a matter of fact, got this courtesy of the fam.
There we go. There we go.
The captain knows what to do, so it'd be interesting. Hey, listen, you're partially responsible, along with people also in the pit, Knicks Nation, for dismantling the Philadelphia 76ers organization.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, we could always be them, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's why I say, hey, man, we're blessed.
Because they are totally dismantled.
Totally dismantled.
Kind of pacified by a Super Bowl victory, but okay, that might as well happen, 8 months ago instead of 2 months ago. So here we are. So here we are looking at entertainment and basketball in Madison Square Garden in the playoffs in 2025. Let's go.
100%. 100%. Once again, we're talking to the legend, Chuck D. Everybody throw a hashtag PE in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of PEs on YouTube, a lot of PEs on Instagram, a lot of PEs on the Facebook side of the house as well, man. Chris Sims, Bro Mike, always holding it down. Michael Jones. We got Alex Davia checking in from Puerto Rico. PR stand
June
up.
K.
Salute,
June K out there. We got John Talento. Like I said, all the crew, man. I'll be in the pit enjoying my time with them. And you got to let sometimes fans, you got to let them know, express yourself. Because listen, we ain't the enemy. That's why hardly any team can mess with us, because we fight ourselves.
Right.
They don't stand a chance.
You don't stand a chance, man. You don't stand a chance, man. No. It's an amazing thing, man. Truly rewarding part of the journey. And so you had that part of the week, and then last night, I call it the title of today's show, The Light at the End of a Dark Tunnel. Deuce McBride missed last night's game. Sources told KFTV that he's expected to miss multiple games. And with that, the Tyler Kolek era has begun. But for now, you saw something positive there in this Wizards win last night, when Tyler Kolek leading the way with 8 assists off the bench, 7 in the second quarter alone. What you think about that performance there by Tyler, man?
Number one, his nickname is Tyler the Creator, but not with a C, but with a K for Knicks and also Kolek.
There you go. Yeah.
Listen, we know Tibbs. Tibbs is the type, and I like Tibbs, right? You heard my takes on Tibbs.
Yeah.
But he's the type, if he got 3 flats, he's going to drive that car with 3 flats before he gets it towed. So expect the cap to do 40 minutes. So what does that tell us? We're talking about a guy that could come in for 8 to 10 minutes as Brunson gets a rest and run that squad, calm it down, distribute the ball. He fed the wings. He fed the wings like they were, like they were raptor dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? He has the ability to get the ball to people like Cat up top or whatever, if Cat's in there or whatever, or at least throw an alley-oop to Mitch. Last time you saw Mitch catch an alley-oop.
True. Mitch needs a Gotham lob. You got to feed the big man.
When the last time we seen him, get it right there, go and flush it.
Yeah.
So you got a guy that recognizes the whole court and gives you 8 to 10 minutes. If a person like Brunson gets in foul trouble, then we're talking about going past the 8 to 10 minutes. But he's strong. Yeah, he's small. But defense is a team effort, will type of thing. Come in. He definitely could scramble around and give the effort, man. He played 2 games in a day, 2 games in a day this year. Played the G League game and came to the Knicks and played the game. So, I mean, man, I think when it comes down to Tibbs, he might look at somebody and says, look, you're 22. You have no excuse not to give 1,000% effort on covering your man and playing defense like you're going to die out there, blood on the floor. And I think that ramps up during the playoffs. And I think playing that style for the Knicks that works in the playoffs gets us injured. Look at a guy like Deuce goes all out. He's got an injury. He's getting a little bit more injuries than he got in the past. He's playing more. He's dependent on certain things. His workouts will probably increase. His playing times increase. So therefore, the chance of injury might happen. So balancing out the squad, I think, is a great thing. But also know this: 8 to 10 minutes for Kolek to calm things down. He ain't gonna get much more time than that if he's the second guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have to go into the champagne.
Right. Yeah.
You see, I don't like to say things live because you get around to people. People are, oh man, my father grew up on your music, so I don't like to say things that get around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, go, young man, go, man. I'll just watch it. I'm a fan, man. I'll say nothing about nobody, yo.
Yeah.
But when we're down 20, 25, campaign slingshot, sense of insanity and energy can work for us. Whether it's the second guard, like you said last night, when he started, I think it's the thing is like I'm starting and I got a person looking over my shoulder that will quickly replace me instead of I'm coming in and replacing the guy and I'm the second and the third is a long way away. So yeah, Cam Payne started last night, said I am going to be the point guard the way the point guard's supposed to be. Yeah, because if he's not, you're going to quickly be replaced by that young kid that looks like he could control the floor.
Yeah.
So everybody needs some pressure. We all need pressure, CP.
True. That's true.
I mean, especially in competition, man. You need to know that your job is in jeopardy. And I think that's one of the things with a lot of things in the NBA, why teams tank, why some players don't want to play in an all-star game, why some players don't even want to play games. They don't feel no pressure. Like, yo, man.
It's true.
You're gonna be out of the league and broke if you don't play. If you gonna get cut, they don't.
Yeah.
If you don't feel that, why should you really bust your tail?
Yeah. No, that's a great point, man. And Cam is interesting because you're right. He could be looking over his shoulder as well, but because the two starts, or he might have had more, but at least those two starts, he's a different guy. His role is completely different, and I can appreciate him. This is why I said when Brunson went down, I'm like, I think I want to go with Cam over Deuce starting because he will be a little bit more cognizant that I got to get these guys involved first before he starts shot hunting. When he comes off the bench, he's firing away. And look, to a certain extent, you need that because they don't have enough. Right. They don't have enough spot up 3-point shooting, and so that times gets into trouble. The problem with Cam is that his shot selection is just, it's just herky-jerky. One time he'll be
oxygen loss, man.
Yeah, next time he's pulling up from half court.
Type of thing.
Exactly.
He plays like he's the Brett Favre of the basketball court.
Yeah.
Great. Then you get the oxygen loss, and then like, dude, what are you doing? He's young, he's energetic, it's the garden, it's the whoop, the celebrity role. It's like if he does the thing, you know what I'm saying? It's special. Once that buzz of the garden gets up into you as a player or as a performer, it turns you into the gremlin.
Yeah, no question. But for a second unit that has struggled to score all year, this is why Tyler, he's vital. His playing time is vital. I was waiting for this moment to, like, when was there going to be a change in the guard from Payne to Kolek? When was he going to grab the reins as a floor general for that second unit? Somebody who can get Deuce in his spot. Somebody that, like you said, can throw the lob to Mitch or even to Precious when he's out there. You saw how easy it was for him to just set guys up, get them their shots where they're comfortable getting them, and everything flowed. He had 7 assists running in the entire second quarter. And like just easy money dimes. And the one of the issues with the Knicks is that because outside of Brunson and say Towns, their spot up shooting is so shaky, you need a guy that can set guys up and get them into rhythm. And in particular with the Knicks, you need a guy who can get into the paint and spray it out. They just don't have that when Brunson is not there. And so that's why at times the offense can get bogged down, especially if they're not playing as fast. Like when they get into the half court, that's when, guys are just like hot potatoing around with no intention, and it can get a little dicey. So he provides that energy. He gets the paint touches. His IQ, his passing is off the charts. It's needed for this team, man. Very
Call,
important.
like, slow it down. Look at the coach. Look at the floor. All in the same similar. Hey, look, they've all been practicing all year long.
Yeah.
So obviously, the one that retains it the most is going to be the one that's going to be called upon, off the bench, and that's one of the things where a lot of fans in Nick Nation we're concerned because we're like, well, damn, how much of us are playing and also paying attention to Tibbs' detail, which kind of like is etched in stone. But I will tell you this: the intensity that the Knicks that we've been seeing the last couple of years with the defense, if this squad plays with that intensity and that heart and that hunger, our only opposition is going to be the refs.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. Every drive I've seen Towns do this year to the basket, he gets chopped and hacked up. It's unacceptable, man. And I ain't wanting to complain to the refs and all that, but every drive I've seen Towns go to the hoop, he gets fouled on. Because number one, you got to do something to him. He's coming at 7 feet and he's so skillful going to the hoop. It's like he's getting fouled. But I guess the refs is like, we're gonna call half of those because, man, we can't call them all. And of course he's gonna do the oh my God thing or whatever. but I think the style that the Knicks gotta play and will play, I think we're gonna have referee problems, man. Because that style of play, those OG and Bridges will become carnivorous. And if they get psyched out with a couple of fouls and we lose them from being that intense, yeah.
Especially Cat. That is what I'm afraid of, man.
Yeah.
That is what I'm afraid of because it's only going to get more physical in the playoffs. So he's already not getting a whistle. Now, you definitely not getting that whistle in the playoffs. And what are you going to do? You got to lock in, get back on defense because the transition defense always suffers when these guys, from Towns to Brunson to Hart, when these guys are back complaining to the refs, the other team is off to the races. That tape has been out on the Knicks, and it's going to continue to expose them if they don't tighten up. They got to get back, mark their guy, and lock things down in a half court.
And you say smart coaches will recognize that off the jump.
Yeah, but unfortunately, man, it's been a constant thing all year. All year.
Like I said earlier, my thing is like if there's the accountability on the floor, if somebody slips up, my bad is cool, but also somebody got to be like, yeah, you're bad. Let's go. And I don't think the Knicks got that. I don't think the Knicks got that. I think they're too polite with each other right now. And you know what? It takes 2 or 3 seasons for people to be like, listen, dog, you got that. I got this. Don't screw up.
Yeah.
We're going to switch or whatever. Listen, we in this together. They're new to each other. And I don't think that's an excuse because in New York, no big pun intended, you can't spend all that time with the excuse of saying you're new to each other. High stakes with 44 and 20, 44 and 25?
44-26.
44-26. 24 and 26? Ain't nobody going to feel sorry for them.
Nope. Not at all, man. CP the Franchise, the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat, wherever you guys are watching from. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X. If you guys want to call us up, talk Knicks, man, you can call us up on the KFTV Discord. Salute to our franchise channel members as well. Who we got here on the IG side? Salute to everybody on the IG side. In here, chopping it up, man. Somebody said, oh, snap, the Rhyme Animal's in here. Shout out to O-Dog. He says he's preparing some oxtail while listening to some quality talk about basketball. Shout out to O-Dog, man. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
LD's going to call you up today?
I don't know. LD
called up yesterday like, oh, I hate to be a thorn in your side.
That's my arch nemesis, man. But I always, appreciate his calls. So I think I'd expect LD to call in Tuesday night after the Mavericks game. Once Kolek posts his triple-double, LD's going to call in and make his case. So shout out to LD. Call back anytime, man. We salute to him. And once again, our franchise channel members. Corey Sean Run, I see you in here. Salute to you. Well-seasoned gamer. Fabian Aramaris, Thomas Donnery. We posted up like 3 shows today, live streams. Thomas is in every chat. So shout out to Thomas. Who else we got in here? TA Cowboys always in here. NYC B-Ball 08. Russell Whiskey's in here, Chuck. Russell Whiskey.
Russ. Eddie Suarez, he there?
Yeah. I see Edwin Diaz. Did I see Eddie Suarez?
Yep.
I don't remember if he was here or if he
Fabian,
was in. Yeah.
You know, the nostalgic Nick.
Yep,
man.
Always in here.
That's the crew, man.
Of course.
The crew.
Of course. Shout out to our mods. Above the Rim is in here, too. Shout out to TM.
Above the Rim.
Lurking in here, Talento as well. James Baker sends a $10 super chat, says, my guy CP and my fellow OG, the legendary Chuck D. Much love for the people, by the people. James Baker from Red Hook, Brooklyn, now in Garner, North Carolina. And
all right.
Those are PE in the chat. And shout out to Peter K, NYK. Welcome to the franchise channel members. He just gifted 5 franchise channel memberships in the chat. So salute to those who were gifted those as well.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Will Latimer, I see you in there. So that was the week, man. Started off a little rough, ended I think with a little bit of light,
of optimism. That they can do it. You know,
That's
they
right.
could definitely do it when a guy like Marcus Smart doesn't want to get at us. That was funny. They removed him as soon as. I mean, I never seen anything like that myself.
That was a strong tank, wasn't it? Man.
Wow. I wonder what Marcus thought.
Oh, man. He probably said, yo, get me out of here, man. Get me out of here. He was probably livid. Yo, like Chuck, I'm seeing him lighting him up. I must have like scooped down on my seat to grab my drink, looked up, he was gone. I said, wait, where did Marcus Smart go?
Escorted out the building.
Out of here.
By the Wizards.
Yeah. You too good, buddy. Meet us back in Washington. We meet you back on the plane. You too good right now. Man.
Wow.
That tank was strong, boy. But
yeah, man. Yeah, so here we go. And like I said, man, there ain't no ulterior motive to us to brag about being a Knicks fan based on our history and our record throughout the last 77 years. There ain't no ulterior motive that you go around and brag. Either you a fan or you ain't. And we fans to the bone, man. And that's what it is. It's like I said, man, it's been blocks of times when we were the best team. Yeah, the chip. I was 13 when we won the last chip. You know, I got OGs that I have conversation with, like Earl Monroe. You know, the Pearl, Henry Bibby. You know, those guys on the last chip team. You talk to, Dick Barnett. Yo, man. So that's not only is that last century, that is like last century somewhere in the middle, right? Then you had the 90s Knicks, and now all the OGs that from that period. And it's funny because like a lot of those guys kind of like were young when I was in my 30s and they were in their 20s, and even growing up with my music and stuff like that. But now they OGs now, and they'll tell you about that time in the 90s and stuff like that, where we didn't win in the 90s. We didn't win it all in the 90s, but still fans came away from it with this,
That's what we want to see.
And we came into this century. And this century's, listen, regardless of anything, time is real. Mathematics is real. True. This century is a quarter over. We are 1 quarter through this century, 25 years. Bap, out of there. So from 2000 to 2025, okay, we ain't got a lot to be showing. This period right now, we throw it all in. We all 82 and some.
All 82.
And I'm telling you, it's a beautiful, if you love basketball, if you love competition, it's a beautiful time to get happy, mad, and sad and passionate about something. Especially with this administration trying to take all the love and light out of just out of your life. So you gotta just like, yo, I got something that I could believe in, that I feel good about. And it's watching people at their best of competition. And then when it's over, you could maybe see if you can extract some of that into your whole daily life on how you could go forward, fulfill your dreams, make some goals, teach the young, salute the old and have conversations and communicate with them. That's what it's about, man. That's what life is about, man.
That's what life is about. Amen to that, man. Well said. Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of hashtag all 82s in the chat as well. So salute to you guys. Salute to Ty Vales. just joined the franchise channel members as well. So salute to you, Ty. Let's get to the phones, man. Tom from Huntington in the building. Tom, how you feeling, man?
Good evening.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Number one, this is the best show, and you know this. I mean, we all know this.
Appreciate
it's
you,
not
man.
a game. Got to give a shout out to the chat. Got to give a shout out to all the 82 game fans. You know how we roll. And I have to give flowers to the legend, Chuck D.
Sure.
Chuck, God bless you and your family. Thank you for all the work you've done with everything in your life. I mean, honestly, and the fact that you're a Knicks fan just makes me even happier. And I'm sorry to hear about the Jets. That's a different conversation. Also, Chuck, like you said regarding the coach and the 3 flat tires, I think it would take 4 flat tires, a missing fender, and like a broken window for him to change anything. But I'm hoping, I'm hoping he lets Kolek play a little bit more. You know he's not, but I hope he does. And the funniest thing about the last game that had me cracking up at the end, I don't know if I'm the only one, when Beauchamp threw that the against the backboard to catch it, and I'm thinking if he misses this, he's getting cut tomorrow.
Oh, he's out of there.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, everybody needs to relax. I think things are going to be okay. The only team I don't want to, I mean, I don't care who we play because it doesn't really matter. You know this. But the one team I don't want to see is Indiana. I don't want to see McConnell anywhere near the Knicks because he's beating us. I mean, we cannot stop him. I don't know. He's Jordan against the Knicks for some reason. I have no idea. Nobody can guard him on our team.
Nobody.
Exactly. But I'm gonna do rapid fire. You know what I mean? Shout out to Manscaped, Mando, every sponsor that you have. Keep doing the excellent work, CP, the conductor, Chuck. Again, like I said, thank you for everything. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll definitely all talk soon. Have a good night, guys.
Appreciate the call. Tom
I'm a big fan of Tom from Huntington.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of a lot of guys in the mosh pit. I'm their biggest routing fan.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Tom from Huntington, always holding it down. Day one as well. So he's been in it, man. He's been in the mosh with us and calling in on the phone lines. He's converted over to the Discord and bringing that good cheer. So shout out to Tom. Call back anytime. And as Tom said, man, salute to our sponsors, man. Let's salute one of them, and that is Mando Whole Body Deodorant, fellas. Hey, listen, it's starting to get into springtime. It's starting to warm up a little bit, so make sure you take care of that hygiene, man. That's what Mando Whole Body Deodorant. 72 hours of odor control. Hey, that's a good sign there, man. Aluminum free as well. So you got natural products, and they have different forms of the deodorant, whether it's the solid stick, you have liquid, you have the spray, and that all comes in a starter pack that you guys can try. So try before you buy. If you go to shopmando.com and use our code KFTV, you will get $5 off the starter pack. So it's a good way to try them all out. See what you like. In the past, we've given away a ton of starter packs as well. And we're going to do that again, man, probably sometime this week after postgame. So look out for that giveaway. But until then, use our code KFTV, get $5 off the starter pack, and that is at shopmando.com. Okay, CP the franchise, the rhyme animal Chuck D in the building, man. We moving and grooving. Knicks taking on the Mavericks on Tuesday. So another tricky part of the schedule. Knicks still have the most back-to-backs in the league to finish out the season. They got they're 44-26, so they got 12 games left. They still have 4 more back-to-backs, including this week.
That was something like 3 games out of 4 days. That was like, wow, right?
Yeah.
3 games out of 4 days, because I was like back-to-back, then the day off, and it was like, oh, yeah, this game's Saturday.
That's right. So you got...
I had to do movie night after that. I was like, all right, people have to do movie night on Saturday night.
You had to get on with it. Yeah. So you got home against the Mavericks, home against the Clippers this week, and then at Milwaukee, the team that you don't want to face. What are you thinking about these matchups this week?
Somebody told me, I was getting around, it's like the Mavericks might be the first team to forfeit a game because they still are losing players. They can't even get people out of the G League.
And
I was like, oh, man. Well, I mean, and they can't get Moses Brown back. I know I brought up a name that nobody understands while he's not around, and TJ Warren, but I don't know that. So, listen, I mean, it's sometimes I don't know what the motivating factor it is. Like, here's a game in March. You'll go out in Dallas. Somebody should have that thing. It's like, we just want to beat Dallas just to beat Dallas because we've been having our head handed to us by previous Dallas Mavericks teams. So it's just be somebody that just goes to Dallas and just just beat Dallas, just to beat Dallas because of it, not because they are forward easy players. Just go to Dallas and make the fans mad or something. I don't know. They are madder
Well,
than
they'll be
they
home.
already
They'll
mad.
be home, so they'll be home for these two. So they get to rest
Okay,
in their
all
own
right.
bed. So they'll be good.
Or make them mad across the screens on the TV, and then
Right.
and then the Bucks. And I don't think the Bucks. I don't think look. They're gambling. Glenn Rivers is gambling by thinking that he could turn that switch on. But I think so. We won't. I don't think we'll see the Bucks like the Bucks are going to be. So I think we could beat the Bucks. I just think whoever they play in that first game of that playoffs, that's when that switch might come on. Whoever they play, I hope it ain't us. Hey, I'll tell you the truth. I wish a team like the Bucks would face Boston
Mm.
because I think they could beat them up.
Just wear them out a little bit.
Just
We
wear
need
them
a
out
team to
little
wear
bit.
them out a little bit in the first round, man.
Well, like with Giannis, and they just
True.
big. They trees, man, and
That's true.
they come at you, and they make a lot of plays. They get a little boneheaded at times, but I just think they're gonna have that extra whatever. And I think when they got Kuzma, and not no diss on Middleton. Did you see Middleton? Oh, you had a good look. Did you see Middleton's face last night?
Did
he look
not.
happy?
I did not. I didn't see him on the. I didn't see him. But
Maybe
a lot of people give him credit because he didn't bail on him.
Maybe he escorted Smart out of the building.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, a lot of people give him credit for not, asking for a trade or a buyout or whatever the case may be. He stuck around with the tank, man.
They're giving him ownership or something.
Right.
Maybe it's like, yeah, you're gonna be general manager next year.
Yeah. That's insane, man. But yeah, look, I think obviously you don't want to overlook any opponent, just given the Knicks' track record without Brunson.
Yeah.
But Dallas, again, winnable games. Even the Clippers, I think I liked how they approached that game in Los Angeles on the second night of a back-to-back. There was a winnable game for them against the Clippers. So once they come back home, they should be looking for revenge against that team on the second night of a back-to-back.
I can't stand the Clippers.
Yeah.
It's nothing about the Clippers I've ever liked.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just since they moved from Buffalo.
The Buffalo Braves, right?
Yo, man, the same thing. The Nets, I don't see how the Nets don't move to Seattle.
Hey, I'd love to see
Nashville is wide open. Can you imagine Nets going to Nashville?
Yeah. It's a good
because
city,
I don't understand. They're the nomads of New York basketball.
Right.
They started in New Jersey in the ABA. Then they came to Long Island. Then they went back to Hackensack. No, they went to Piscataway. And then they went to Hackensack. And then they went to Newark.
Right.
And then they went to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yo, go to Nashville.
Just go to Nashville, man, and settle your roots. Just go to Nashville, settle your
roots.
Go
to Nashville, man. They jinxed off of the trading of Dr. J.
Yeah.
That's they jinxed. They never will get better. So here I am talking, but I'm just saying that this week I think that this week we'll play Kolek.
Play Kolek. Hey,
Kolek and Busy.
I say, hey, play Beauchamp too, man. Like I
think
too. Give these wings some breaks. Get him in there. Get him some minutes. I think all the wings from Josh to McCall to OG, just start just throttling down. Let these guys kind of break into the end of this season. I mean, right now you look at the standings. They are 3 games up in the Pacers. Pacers are in 4th. So
40 coming back when you hear
I don't know when. It was supposed to be a month from the time of the surgery. So that's probably you're probably thinking playoff time realistically is like break glass if they need him. You know what I mean? I don't think I wouldn't consider him a factor unless they get deeper into the playoffs and he starts to ramp up with his rehab. But I mean, you're 3 games up on the Pacers. They're 4 games up on the Bucks. And the good thing is, especially going into that Bucks game, going into Milwaukee, the Bucks are going to need that game way more than the Knicks. But they already won the season series against the Bucks.
All right.
So they already have that edge up, and that's why I look at all these regular season games, especially against those teams, the Bucks, the Pacers, Pistons, Orlando Magic. Like when the Knicks play those teams in the year, I look at those games very seriously because I'm like, you never know if you come into potential tiebreaker scenarios at the end of the season where, seeding matters, they already put the Bucks in the rearview mirror by beating them the first 2 out of 3. So they're in good shape there.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that this area of time is the last tolerance of Tibbs really seeing everything he could see from Shamit and Payne? Because playoff, game 1, game 2, how much time you realistically think he's going to give Shamit and Payne? Game 1,
they're gonna need shooting, man, still. And so, you get your full deck back. Once the captain comes back, you get McBride back from the groin injury. I think that playoff rotation is going to be Deuce, Mitch, and whoever's giving you good shooting that night. I think he'll go with Payne first. And if Payne is just chucking and yucking, maybe a little Shamit. But I would love to say go with Shamit, but his shooting is just not there. It's just not there, man. I would like to see Shamit take that spot.
It's a bad time for him to get into a slump.
Yeah.
His last 5 games, man, it's been like, yo, dude, where are you?
Right.
He's doing massive cardio out there. So, but one of those guys, it's not going to be both of those guys. It's not going to be 9. And depending on, if Towns, I don't want to assume they get past the first round, but once they get into a tougher matchup where Towns' foul trouble, his foul discipline may come into question, then you're going to have to bring Precious into the mix with a Mitch. So it could get a little bit dicey there, but I think like P. McGee in the chat says Payne is going to play. I think it'll be Deuce, Payne, Mitch. That'll be your 7-8. That's going to be your 7-8 right there. Deuce, Payne, Mitch. That'll be your 7-8 man rotation right there. Yeah, I don't know what it is. You get a feeling that something in the business kind of like altered Precious a little bit. And you hate this. And all these guys are young guys, so you never know what might make a person go left or right, depending on, how they're treated or whatever. But I remember like Precious had those back-to-back DNPs. And just from that point on, it was like, dude, where are you?
He fell off tremendously, man. He's an energy guy. He's got to give them that energy.
Yeah. You would think that he would also be the guy if something happened on the floor, and he's probably not that personality type. But they need somebody, like if something happens on the floor, somebody steps to somebody and says, you can't do that. It can't be PJ Tucker at the end of the bench, with a towel. I'm like, it might as well be one of us.
They got to give him
a
that
guy
energy.
That's on the floor that says, listen, you can't get away with that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. So you know what? I'm gonna go for my prediction this week. Home against the Mavs, home against the Clippers, and then at the Bucks. I'm gonna go 2-1. I think they can take these 2 home games, and because of the sense of urgency that the Bucks are gonna be coming with, and with the Giannis and Dame matchup, I think the Bucks will get that game on Friday night. I'm going 2-1 on the week, man. That's my prediction for the week.
I'm making no prediction. Yeah. I'm going to be tight if we lose any of those games.
There you go. So to everybody in the chat once again, CP the Franchise, Ryan Animal, Chuck D in the building. Knicks Weekly, episode 124. So to our sponsors once again, man, we shouted out Mando, the whole body deodorant. And as Tom from Huntington said, also shout out to our guys at Manscaped, man. Shout out to our guys at Manscaped, the #1 grooming tool, both above and below the waist. Hey, check out Manscaped's new Handy Man Shaver, the close-knit shaver. Along with the Handy Man, Manscaped has a ton of other great products for today's man. From the Lawnmower 5.0, the Beard Hedger Kit, along with a ton of solutions from shampoo to body wash, foot deodorant, ball deodorant, you name it, man. So go to manscaped.com, use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping and shipping to many destinations around the world, fellas. So to our friends across the pond in the UK, in France, Spain, South Africa, all the way to Asia Pacific, to Singapore, they will be shipping to you guys. So make sure you use our code once again, KFTV, for 20% off plus free shipping. Okay. Chuck, man,
when we talking off camera about how Clyde is just like he's always that breath of legendary fresh air.
Yeah.
And last night he had me cracking up, and I also got to salute out to our great broadcasters, CK.
Shout out
And
CK.
let me tell you, and also JD.
Mm-hmm. Shout out JD.
Because you can hear JD when he doesn't say the word, you can hear him fume through the screen. JD, and you can hear him fume. So
yeah.
And let me tell you where that comes in handy. When I'm taking the drives, no matter where I'm at in the country, and I can't get the game, the Knicks Fan TV broadcast will come in like champions. When you get it, yeah, man, that play-by-play is just the best thing ever. So, I think other fan bases are going to really bite off of that all right throughout the whole country with their teams, but I ain't worried about that.
Yeah,
but big ups to JD and big up to CK. They've done a masterful job this year.
Absolutely.
About Clyde, it was funny because I flip over and hear Clyde and Breen last night, and Clyde was talking about Willis Reed, and he always talks gloriously about the captain.
Of course,
how he taught him, how to carry himself, taught him on the court. He was the captain for real. He said the one thing I didn't do with the captain, because he was from Louisiana and he would go hunting. And he said, "Hey, Clyde, come on, I'm going to go deer hunting." And Clyde says, "No, I'm only hunting. I'm going for deers, DEAR." And now I was in tears.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, Clyde has been on it this year, and he's a legend. We are truly blessed to have him still calling the games, man.
And Han Solo doing a great job out there as well.
Yeah, shout out to Han Solo,
Monica, and Bill Pito, and
Jamal
all those
Crawford.
guys.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, Jamal was dope on the West Coast.
Yeah. I ran into Pito yesterday. So he'll be coming on the show. Ran into Pito at the game yesterday and chopped it up with him, exchanged numbers and whatnot. So we'll have Pito on the broadcast fairly soon, man. So definitely looking forward to that. And then, also this weekend, man, we got to shout out the late, great George Foreman. Passed away this weekend at the age of 76. One of the greatest heavyweights to ever live. And then, his post-boxing life, you could say, was almost as big, or maybe even bigger than his boxing career. That was one of your heroes. Talk to me, man. How did you feel about George Foreman, his passing, and his legacy?
He's the master of reinvention. He grew up in Houston, Texas, like in the toughest of toughest places. No chance whatsoever was handed down to him. His first reinvention is getting involved, and a couple of OGs got him involved in the sports and boxing. And he comes out of that troubled situation to become an Olympian in 1968. And I tell you, here's another thing showing my age, which I'm never afraid of showing. I remember watching the 68 Olympics. Came on ABC. It's the same way with John Carlos and Tommy Smith put up the fist for Black Power.
Yeah.
Mexico City. Bob Beamon had the long jump that year. And in the boxing, which was also announced by, blow by blow by Howard Cosell. That's why I first remember seeing George Foreman win the heavyweight gold medal. And he went and he had a little flag and he bowed in all four corners or whatever. And that was George Foreman. Then he went into the professional ranks in 69. And I remember I was 11, the Ali Frazier fight at the Garden. But, George Foreman was coming up. And so when he got a chance to fight Joe Frazier in Jamaica, Joe Frazier was a champion because he knocked out Muhammad Ali at TKO at the Garden. So then he's a heavyweight champ. George Foreman, he was the underdog, goes in there and beats Joe Frazier, becomes heavyweight of the champion of the world. So that was the next reinvention of George Foreman being what? Being a superstar boxer who was quite ornery too, because they was like he was the menacing, he's the black killer, just like Sonny Liston. I will take you and just destroy you. And then who he fights in 1974? Muhammad Ali.
Ali.
Yeah, right. Rumble in the Jungle.
Yep.
And that was another thing that nobody expected. Ali won. Foreman lost in more ways than one. Then I remember Foreman losing at Yankee Stadium to Jimmy Young. And then he disappeared. Because that was like, Jimmy Young beating George Foreman. He disappeared for 10 years. And he became a preacher in Houston until he gave up boxing and turned his image. Well, you can look that up in your phones or whatever.
Yeah.
That's another reinvention.
Yeah.
That everybody was like, he's crazy.
He left and came
he
back.
Left 10 years, a decade.
Wow.
Then he's got the church down there in Houston and got back into boxing. I remember the first time I was touring. My first tour year was 1987. And I remember passing, that's George Foreman's church. And later, a couple of years later, he gets back into boxing because he runs out of money.
That's right.
Some will go in the box. At first, it was like, okay. And then he gets into boxing. So it wasn't so much when he got the championship again. Let's talk about the amount of fights he had leading up to Michael Moorer, who I met. Good brother, man. Good. I mean, heavyweights back then was doing it. And Michael Moorer was a sharp heavyweight. He didn't play. He had a great record. And when George Foreman, it was a joke at first, but then his ascension to get a chance to fight for the belt with Michael Moorer, it wasn't a joke the last two fights in. And then I remember I was in Mississippi and checking it out on TV. And Foreman knocks Moorer out. I run out of the hotel room screaming in the parking lot that I couldn't believe it because I felt that he was like winning one for the underheralded underdog OGs. And that was the fourth reinvention of George Foreman.
Yeah.
Then he's boxing and he's coming close. He loses to Holyfield, but, TKOs and whatever. Then it's this marketing side, and at the same time, it just comeback. He just turns into this personality that everybody loves. He cuts his head bald. He's smiling all the time. He's funny. He's like 300. He's 180 degrees different from the George Foreman I remember as a kid. And this is George Foreman. And then he goes into the marketing thing. When most people look at George Foreman and they're like, "Oh, the George Foreman grill."
Yeah, right.
And then you hear him on what? He was a commentator on HBO Sports on the boxing matches. Yep, but he was he was almost like George Foreman was like John Madden was to football. George Foreman was to boxing commentary.
True.
Oh, it was just like this dude that's just never ever let anything else define him except for him defining himself and reinvention. And it showed everybody that anybody can turn anything around. True. They put their mind to it.
True.
You can see it, then you work hard, you can see it, then be it. And George Foreman is the epitome of that example. Yeah, I mean, 75. It struck me like, wow, because he always looked like he was like handling it. But we never know the inside.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. And as you mentioned with the reinvention, he leaves, comes back 10 years later, and has 23 victories along that route. And then when he defeats Michael Moorer, that's when I remember. That's when I saw him fight, right? So this is this is my generation now, and I'm looking at him like, wait, this is a guy that fought Ali. I'm like, and I remember when he beat Michael Moorer, I said I couldn't believe it. He's 45 years old, and he's a heavyweight champion of the world. That was crazy for me as a kid.
Yes, that was crazy. Listen, I'm 14 years old, and it's no way that Muhammad Ali is going to beat George Foreman. There's no way. Of course, back then, you're a kid, you go into school, it's in Africa, take your little tail to bed and find out tomorrow. That's so when you wake up, you're getting the results.
Yeah.
It's like Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman, like knocked him out. And you was almost like, the big bad witch is dead. He was like, Yeah, nobody, it's like George Foreman didn't have people rooting for him.
Right.
And he knew he was the bad guy. So later on, him being like this hero, this good guy, the guy everybody felt rooting for, it was a weird paradox, man. And that was in the 90s. Fast forward 10 to 15 years later, he's selling grills. He's just this spokesperson. Man, 76 years how he packed everything, and that was something.
Right. I mean, talk about ups and downs, peaks and valleys, no money, come back, Foreman Grill. Now you're a multi-millionaire, and as you said, going from, like in a storybook, the villain to the hero, and as he passed away. So
I'll tell you another story about George Foreman. Sure.
Did you ever meet him? Did you ever meet him?
Never met. I never met George Foreman.
Okay.
I met Ken Norton in the elevator, and that dude looked like the size of the elevator. And this is the dude that George Foreman is looking down on. But anyway, CBS used to have all the boxing back in the 70s. And they got to a point where George Foreman was just so, and this was after the Ali, where they used to, all right, we're going to get some viewers. George Foreman fought 5 dudes on one day.
Wow.
I mean, they were like, he fought 5 boxers on CBS the same day. Knocked them all out. I remember one of the guys was named Charlie Polite.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. Charlie Polite and 4 other dudes. And then, CBS Sports, George Foreman versus 5 boxers. We've come a long way in sports television, I'm telling you.
Oh, man. Absolutely unbelievable, man. But now, man, great stories. Rest in peace to a legend of our time, for sure. And, just hey, a life well lived. Life well lived, man. Rest in peace to George Foreman. And shout out to hey, I'm sure we'll have a lot of OGs chiming in with their stories from Foreman, so we'll look forward to that in the comment section. So to everybody in the chat. And OG Chuck, man, always appreciate you, man. This was another one of those ones, man. Great episode, great show. And hey,
I'll get back in the march with everybody else. I ain't no big deal, man. I know my place. And then again, it's like, like as an OG, you watch your mouth, because too many tomatoes is not good for too many tomatoes is not good for your levels. And stuff like
it's
that.
It's acidic,
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Oh, man. Well, shout out to you, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Again, amazing show. Have a great week, everybody. Once again, salute to our sponsors. And also, hey, check out the new For the Fans, By the Fans t-shirts at KnicksFanTV.com. You got the snaps as well, man. The new 3D embroidered snaps. And as Chuck is showing, man, your For the Fans, By the Fans towels, get those for playoff time, because we all 82 over here, and we going to ride till the wheels fall off, man. We don't know how this thing is going to end, but the captain is coming back. The Deuce is going to be rested up. Tyler's going to take over for right now. Hey, 12 games left. Lock in with the #1 show for the fans, by the fans, man. CP the Franchise, the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D, the Franchise channel members. And also remember that this show's available in audio podcast format. So, as Chuck said, if you're on the road, tap in with us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You already know, man. Wherever you are, we are, man. So, we'll see you guys on Tuesday for Knicks versus Mavericks, man. Play-by-play and post-game live. We out of here. Peace.